What have I gotten myself into? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Four Collectors, Four Collectors. These three guys know exactly what I got myself into. Absolute disaster. No.
Potential.
Intentional disaster. Last minute live stream. I was convinced. Actually, I was threatened. No. So I'm joined here by Orlando, John, and Adam. You guys, you know who they are. Hopefully, we get some eyes on this thing. I still see that what do they call that? A goose egg or something like that? The goose egg when there's nobody watching.
Nobody in the chat today, but don't worry.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Might get some people just coming on randomly. But anyway, thank you guys so much. We were just chatting offline for a little bit, just shooting the breeze.
But, yeah, Adam, it's nice to see you out of your closet.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Definitely.
Maybe in the future you'll see me like in a pantry or something. So
yeah, it's pretty much. Oh, look at that. We got some people. We got Vintage Goats and W.
All right, here we go.
But why does it still okay? Now it shows one. Usually, when you got Mangini, Orlando, and Adam here, you get like triple digits.
Well, you guys, Mangini and Orlando, those are the real. That's where the real power resides here. Let's just be clear.
I don't understand you people that care about views. I don't get any views, but I still make videos.
No, you got a lot. You got a lot.
Let's be clear. John is the man here. All right, let's keep that clear.
You can't
Orlando, you've
man.
been a rock star this year.
So what you're saying is, if we get very few people on this live, it's really all John's fault.
We'll blame it on Sammy.
Yeah, it's my fault. We got 5 now. We got 5 people. I'd love to get 10, but I figured this would be. You know what? If we are going to do a live stream, so instead of doing a Thursday video, I figured you got 3 guys here who will talk your ear off. So this is perfect. Why not talk to it? We'll talk everybody's ear off, not just mine, but each other's, and everybody in the chat. So. All right, so tonight is another vintage chill and chat. I do this on my channel. I do this on Four Collectors, and I do this when I've run out of ideas. So I figured I would show off some cards. You guys would show off some cards. The stuff I've shown a million times, so I'm going to save that for later. I think it's better that you guys do that. Adam, I'm curious because I don't know. I know you've been kind of haven't been doing a whole lot of videos lately, so I figured maybe we start with you, showcasing some stuff you'd like to show the 7 people that are watching.
Sure, absolutely. Well, let me just say, I've thought about this, Sammy, Orlando, and John, and we grow as collectors. So what I used to think was a dream card, my criteria for a dream card has changed. So here's my present criteria. All 3 criteria must be met. Okay. Number 1, John Mangini does not have the card. Now, number 2. Now, number 1 alone is not sufficient. Number 2, John Mangini really wants the card. Number 3, it's not going to be easy for John Mangini to get the card. And just to be abundantly clear, I don't have to like the card. That is not. So with these criteria in mind, I present to you what many would consider the rookie card with the glorious cartoons of Jolton Joe Damasio in a pristine one.
I love it.
Gorgeous.
So Mangini definitely does not have this.
Unless he has it in his closet, and he hasn't told us about it yet.
No, that's one of those cards. I have just a handful of them that I should have got before the boom. That really went way super up.
And let me just say,
I'll have one before the year's up.
Let me just say, the reason that I feel like it's fair game to pick on Mangini is because not only is he a great guy, but we all know he has a world-class collection. So I feel like, it's fine to pick on him a little bit.
Adam, you're not my only friend that busts my chops with cards I don't have. Always showing them. Rick does it, and
I mean, you could, if this were a competition, you'd blow me away because you could show so many cards I don't have. But I thought I'd just come in swinging with that one.
No, Sammy, I don't want to get off topic, but I was thinking about this today.
Go ahead.
I was thinking about this today. I was thinking about doing a video, just sharing my thoughts. But Adam, you kind of hit on something because collecting certainly isn't a competition, right? And everybody kind of collects differently. Some guys have, I don't know, a 20 card collection, and other guys like me have 100,000 card collection. And there's some people that want a small collection, and some people that want to own all the great cards, and some people that just want a few, and everything has to be a 9 or a 10, and other guys that really don't care and do eye appeal like we do. So it's kind of interesting how people choose. Now for me, I have to give up some of those big cards, right? Because I'm not going to have just $10,000-$20,000 cards or $10,000 cards. There's so many cards I want because I love cards, and I love all cards from every era, every sport, and I want all the good cards. So I kind of focus on all the other cards that aren't $20,000, $15,000. What are your thoughts on that? How do you collect?
I'll let you guys kind of take that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll talk. First time that Adam and John are shut up for a little bit there. So,
Orlando, you're one to talk. I watched you on a podcast, and the first question took 16 minutes. Over 16 minutes.
Was it about cleaning?
Right.
Was it about cleaning and repairing cards?
Oh, I was laughing.
Oh, man. No, but everybody collects differently, of course. And I used to be the guy that collected everything. I literally had almost every single card from the 50s all the way through. I built almost every set. And it just got to a point in my life. Of course, I'm retired and I'm over 65. So, when it was getting to that point, I had to start condensing it. So about 20 years ago, I started really thinking about what am I going to do? I was 50 years old, and I was moving, and I had to move all that stuff. It was just a big mess. So I kind of changed my my focus. And as I went through my cards, when I moved to a new place, I started really looking at some things that I really loved, and cards that I had for 30 years, and I had them in a box, and I never looked at them really. I got them in a lot that I bought at one of these shows that I was a dealer many years ago. And that kind of started me in a new journey, and it started me in the journey to go to the pre-war. And the cards were the Goodwin champions. I bought a small lot of about 20 cards. They were just common cards, no big name players. But that got me going. But in order for me to get the big names, when I really got into that set, and I said, you know what, this is 50 cards, I could build that set. Because I was a set builder. And this was kind of the thing. I noticed that, I can't afford the big cards, the Cap Answers and all this stuff and all that. And it got to a point that I started beginning to refocus my collection. And, Sammy had asked us to pick 3 cards that were cards that were kind of our favorite cards, or cards that had a meaning for us, or stuff like that. And I've shown all my mantles. So I said, I'm not doing the mantles, but that's why I wanted to show off. My favorite card of all time in my entire collection is my King Kelly. When I saw this card, I thought it was the most beautiful baseball card I had ever seen. And that changed my entire perspective in the hobby to get me to collect pre-war. And so this to me is really a card that means a lot to me and my collection and my collecting. So I would rank that probably the first card that really, once I got to know that set, that's the first player that I picked up. I learned about King Kelly, and I couldn't afford the Anson at the time, but I read up on him, and I found that he was actually the Babe Ruth of his time. He was very famous back in the day. He died, he was young, at 35. He didn't play that many years, but he was, he was the first one to get the biggest bonus, the $10,000 Kelly he was known as. And that got me to pre-war. And from there, you got to the other guys and the Babe Ruths of the world and stuff. So that's kind of one thing that kind of changed my collection. I guess that's what John's kind of asking what changed. So I sold off a lot of stuff, focused on that set and a few other cards, particular cards that I really wanted. And I also, of course, had to sell most of my collection or a lot of my sets to get my 52 mantle. And, so that's a big card, but, that is not one of the cards that it really is. I call it, it's not one of my favorite cards because it doesn't have as many memories as some of these other cards that I'm going to show today.
So Adam, you're newer to collecting.
Yeah.
So I be curious for your answer on that. Like, did your collecting evolve as you're going now here?
Sure. So I would say that even though I turned 60 years old in January, I'm still relatively new to collecting. I've been collecting vintage baseball cards. Now, I have a history in coins, and I did collect some cards, but never vintage baseball and really never vintage cards. So I've only been at vintage cards for less than 4 years. So I feel like, I'm still figuring out how I'm going to grow and learn and adapt. I sort of have this vision that ultimately my collection, might be to have a number, maybe 300 cards I really like, or 400, 500, some relatively smaller amount. They don't all have to be, quote unquote, big cards, but I sort of have that vision. However, I feel like I have to move along in this journey to figure out how that's going to play out because, I don't know how I'm going to grow and learn. And maybe in a few years, John, maybe I'll want representation from a bunch of different sets. And so the idea of limiting myself to something like 300 cards will not fit in with that plan at all. But that's sort of the vision that I have right now. I'm trying to set myself up for some completions, most notably top runs. Like if I can get, a key Willie Mays card or a key Hank Aaron card, then, that sets me up to complete a run for that player at some point down the road. It should their key card prices, take off. And if they don't take off or if they come down, well, that's fine. Then it makes it, easier for me to, that probably means other cards come down as well. So it makes it easier for me to complete these runs. So I do think about what are some key cards I can get now that I might be really happy I have down the road, especially if I retire and have somewhat less money to spend, because I've already got some keys that will enable me to work on some types of completions down the road.
Yeah, I think there's been this trend recently of everybody selling off like a lot of their cards and just going after some grail cards. I see more and more and more and more people doing that. A lot of times they were set collectors and set builders, and so now there just seems to be a lot of. Have you seen that? And Sammy, I mean, you might know better than anybody being a dealer.
It's from my experience for selling to people. A lot of the times I see a lot of people coming up that are set builders, a lot of older veteran collectors. I don't know. I don't really get into the weeds with them as far as whether they've been collecting for a long time or just getting back into it. But a lot of times, a lot of the guys that are, like in their 70s and older that come to the table always come with their lists.
Yeah.
I'm not probably the greatest representative of that because a lot of the stuff that I sell at my tables are singles. I sell practically only Hall of Famers and semi-stars at best. So I'm not the one that has like binders and binders laid out for set builders to come sit down on.
Now, what I'll say about that, guys, is that in the old days it was very easy to go out and build sets because the commons were very inexpensive. But today you can't do that. I mean, I remember going out to shows because I was finishing my 66 set, and the high numbers cards like Grant Jackson rookie, those type of cards were like commons, maybe a little more than a common. But people realize that some of those cards are those high numbers, especially like those 66, the 71 high numbers, the 72 high numbers. Those cards, you could buy them for pennies, the common players back in those days. And today, you just can't do that. It's just crazy to go try to buy some of those cards. They'll cost you as much as a Hall of Famer in some cases. And I think that's the issue with building sets. Now, a lot of the dealers realize that these common cards, some high numbers, and certain rare, not rare, but short prints also are very expensive nowadays.
Yeah, and the high numbers are very expensive, and it might be a guy that had one at bat or played in one game.
Yeah,
but it goes for a lot of money because it's a high number.
That's why I commend guys like Mikey from G's Mikey, Jake
Rick.
from Legends Never Die. Those guys, and both those guys are set builders, and they commit to that.
yeah.
I try.
Rocket Rick J. Has
Yeah,
every
I
set
mean,
for
yeah, I commend those guys for doing it, but it's just it requires a lot of patience, and I don't have that sort of mentality. I tried it, and I built a few sets, but then I was like, you know what? I mean, this is just as you were talking about the evolution of your collecting, and you start pivoting what you want. And set building, while it's a thrill of the hunt situation, some people will stick with it, and some people will evolve to kind of go in a different direction. For me, it was just about becoming more of a player build, like a building of different players, just focusing on player building sets. But
another thing that I've been focusing on, and I got this from John, is I never really was into the different sets and some of these oddball sets. But now that I've gotten really into them, the last, I would say 3 or 4 years, watching John and his stuff, I've been trying to collect one card of some of the, not every set, of course, but a lot of these sets, So that's one of the things that I've been looking to do. And like last year, I was able to trade one of my cards for a E103 Bryce Williams, a 1903 Bryce Williams card. It's a common player, but it's a rare set. And I just wanted one card from that set, And then, last week, Adam was saying about John, I titled my video, I got a card that Mangini doesn't have,
That Hannes Wagner.
This needs to be the next VR challenge.
Yeah. The funny thing is I have the whole rest of that set, but that card. I have the Ruth, I have the Cobb, I have the Gehrig, I have everybody else. Walter Johnson, Cy Young.
This needs to be a hobby-wide VR. It's like, all right, this is the card that I have that Mangini does not have.
From that set, and I got the one Mangini didn't have.
Yeah.
Are you talking about this card, Sammy? Are you talking about the glorious Joe DiMaggio rookie card with cartoons?
We're starting there. That's a good starting point.
There was a time, of course, and Orlando did this, and I don't know, to what degree. I suspect John did as well, but where if you're talking about in the 60s or 70s, buying packs for a nickel and maybe getting 5 or 6 cards for a nickel. And so it kind of made sense to build a set because the superstars weren't necessarily really high priced relative to, the commons, and you were getting the cards at, say, a penny a piece. And so that seemed to be the way to go. Well, now, today, I think, as Orlando said, I'm just really echoing what he said. A lot of people don't necessarily want to put a bunch of money into, say, high numbered commons and the like, when they could, use that for maybe their favorite player. I think there's been a movement away from set collecting for a lot of people toward player collecting. And even if you look at modern cards, which I don't know a lot about, but I know that a lot of these modern products are premium products, and you're paying, you know, crazy money, $300, $400, $500 for a box or more. So, you know, are you going to try to buy a bunch of boxes and put together a set? And of course, we're seeing the opposite thing, I think, with modern, which is people open them or they get a spot in a break and in an online break, and they're just looking for the hits, the lower serial numbered cards, the autos, and they're probably throwing away or just dismissing you know, the base cards that could make up a set. So it seems like there aren't too many people who are buying modern product, certainly not expensive modern product, looking to actually put the set together and spending crazy money to buy enough boxes to make that happen. They're just looking for the hits and kind of dismissing the common cards or even just all of the base cards.
Yeah, and with some of those modern, I mean, it's impossible to put a set together like a master set, and the base set just isn't that exciting. But you'll see a lot of people doing like the rainbow, where they get every color of the rainbow, or all the short prints, or you know, certain different types of putting some sort of a subset together out of these sets. So because, you know, just to put the base set together, there's no chase there. You can find those no problem.
It seems like there's been a transition. I mean, certainly there's plenty of set collectors, of course, and that's really cool. But it seems like there's been a transition where more people have moved away from set collecting to player collecting, or maybe just like, say, collecting rookie cards.
Yeah. And you have, I don't know, it seems to me like most people, or many, I should say many, you know, they're just into the rookie card or the Hall of Famers only. You know, they don't want anybody that's not in the Hall of Fame. So every year when somebody gets into the Hall, you see their cards skyrocket. Like, look what happened with Ted Simmons. Totally under everybody's radar. Nobody wanted it, you know, his rookie card until he got into the Hall. And then there was a mad rush for them. They spiked way up. And then a few months later came back down to earth.
No, and then they want them autographed.
Now the new craze is autograph cards.
Now too. So, you know, who knows?
Yeah, I'm really not into that. So I'm glad that's not a rabbit hole I need to go down.
Yeah. And who would not want the 52 Topps Super Chief Ali Reynolds in a Forever 4? This card is so nice. Like, may not be a Hall of Famer, was one vote away from the Hall of Fame, but I mean, what an awesome player and what an awesome card.
Yeah, I mean, a fantastic pitcher. So what if he's not in the Hall of Fame? You know, because I mean, the Hall of Famers, you know, I don't know. You know, it's fiery debate if people are in that shouldn't, if people aren't in that should be in. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, these guys, Babe Ruth didn't get 100% of the vote. Ty Cobb didn't get 100% of the vote. Honus Wagner didn't get 100% of the vote. Joe DiMaggio didn't even get in on the first ballot. So, I don't know. It's kind of a joke to me. It's getting more and more of a joke every year.
So, John, we're into it 20 minutes, and you haven't shown a card.
All right.
He is.
I want to see something that you like, one of your favorite cards.
He's still stunned by my DiMaggio.
Listen, man, I have plenty of cards. You know, I have plenty of cards I can show, but I'm not ready yet. So go to somebody else, please.
Yeah, Sammy, you show some cards and impersonate me. That's fine.
All right. You want to see a card? All right. I got this. I bet you guys don't have this one graded. You might have it raw, but definitely not graded. It's a 1986 Mike Schmidt in a Topps near mint. Let me tell you something. This is a fantastic card. I got this in a 50-cent box at some card show, and I looked up comps. Goes for about $10. Who would grade this for $10? I mean, I don't understand. It must have been graded back in the early 90s or something. Got me. All right, that's enough. I don't want to.
Can you believe I had this Schmidt out and ready to go?
Oh, you're frozen, mate. I can't see you.
Oh, I'm frozen?
Yeah. You can just see a big smile on your face.
Oh, wow.
Wow, he's frozen. That was a pretty good impersonation. There were only two tweaks I would make. Number one, I never talk price, so I wouldn't say what I want for that.
You don't.
Unless it's $3.
And it would be the opposite with grading. I'd probably have the raw, and everybody else would have it graded.
All right, forgive me.
Back.
I got this card, and it was great. Fantastic pickup. You won't believe where I found it. I found it in somebody's attic. What was I doing in that person's attic? I don't know. I just happened to be there one day doing some roofing. Why am I a roofer? Don't ask me why. Things.
Every day there's a new attic find. It's blowing my mind.
Every day.
Every single day.
You're good now,
I
Adam.
can't see John being a roofer though.
Oh man,
Cards have been worth
There it
money
is.
for 40 years. I don't understand why these
How
cards
is
are all
this
in the attic.
possible?
I was showing this, or at least I was trying to show it while you were showing yours, but clearly I was stuck.
Why do you have that?
You know what? It happened to be, I brought a
Chuck
bunch
Norris
of cards.
fan.
It happened to be on top. It's the Tiffany,
Oh,
Mint9 Tiffany.
so you got to show me up. I get it.
That was the, yeah, I was hoping to show John up, but you know, hey, if I can't show John up, I'll just try to show you up. No, I was trying to be a clubby. I was trying to show camaraderie, my friend.
Absolutely. I know you're always there for that. No, you know what? So the card I was showing, in reality, I don't know if I mentioned this, but there was a guy who I'm on a Discord with, and he's like, "Hey, man, listen, I have over 100 cards of junk wax stuff. I know you sell at shows. There's a lot of good rookies in there, you know, like Will Clark and McGuire and whatnot. Why don't I'll send them to you, and you sell it for whatever you feel is the right price. And then on the back end, just you can give me a card or like give me like a $10 or $20 card or something like that. I just want to get rid of these." And so those 3 cards were just happened to be included in there. And so there's a Griffey and the Schmidt, and then there's a Robin Yount. And so like I was asking, like, were these meant to go with it? I was expecting a bunch of like raw cards from like 88 or 87 or something like that. And he goes, "Oh yeah, whatever. I just want to get rid of those." And so yeah,
it always blows my mind. Like I have that set over here, the 86 tops. I love it, but it just blows my mind that people would pay money to grade all the cards in that set.
yeah,
I mean, the set's not worth it anything.
You know what was included
the
in
Tiffany cards, because they're limited, but other than that, they're not worth anything.
You know what was included in that? What was it in the junk wax thing that was sent to me? Was this? He threw that. I don't know. It's sorry. I got to get my focus in better shape here. It's the.
Can you go single screen?
Solo?
Yeah. Let me do that. Solo. It's the
tattoo orbit pin.
Yeah, this was I'm sorry, the focus sucks, but there you go.
34, I believe, tattoo orbit.
Yeah, this was, I mean, I didn't write this down. This is what was sent to me, but it's kind of cool. I mean, I had no idea. Kyler 33 orbit gum, $15 is what somebody priced this at. I mean, the back.
I don't think it was 33. I think it was the year after the cards.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but I believe it's 34. This
was kind of thrown in there.
Yeah, so you have Kyler.
Yeah, Kyler.
I don't know much about him.
I happen to have a box of those right here.
Oh,
he's a good player.
Of course you do. You have everything, Kyler.
John's got a few Kyler.
Let's see here.
And he's holding a dead
man.
Oh
no! I don't. I have him in a different
Bob
box.
Boozle, man, classic Bob Boozle.
I was
not dead man's eye.
I was not holding a dead man's eye, but
great,
I appreciate
Bob.
I had to step away for a second to get my Kyler box.
Oh, wait a minute. They might be in here.
Yeah.
No, it's not Kyler. I think I might have that one, but
man.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, Dylan arrived. What did I miss?
Hey, you missed 20-something minutes, Dylan.
Here we go. I have these.
Oh.
We have Dizzy Dean.
The wrong thing.
Oh no. There you go.
Oh, there, yeah, the orbit.
All
yeah.
right.
Hold
All
on.
right.
Let me solo the or Mangini.
Dizzy Dean. I don't know. You
That's
can't see
cool.
these too good on video. These.
No, they don't show up very well, but they're cool.
But I have Dizzy Dean, Jimmy Fox, Burley Grimes, the last legal spitballer, and Kai Kyler.
All right.
I have some Cracker Jacks here, including Dizzy Dean and Lou Gehrig.
They are
Mrs. Sherlock's
pins, Jason. I
pins.
think they're pins.
Mrs. Sherlock's bread.
Yeah.
Honus Wagner, Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth. I love old pins. And they were something where I could get those great players very affordably because nobody wants pins. So like I might have the whole set of Sweet Capital minus some of the, they have small letter and large letter. So minus some of the variations.
Is Mangini a magician? He pulls these cards out out fast like a rabbit from a hat.
Yeah, he just pulls them right out of his butt. I don't know.
Hey, Ray.
Yeah, I have all these
Right
Sweet
behind him.
Capital
There he
pins
goes. He's going to grab
me.
a bunch.
I don't show the pins a lot because they're
Hey,
hard
John,
to show up on
do you
camera.
have this one? The glorious Jimmy Fox with
Yes,
cartoons?
Yeah, I have both versions.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Can't win them all, Adam.
John,
No.
let me ask you a question. Sammy was asking earlier before the show. Basketball rim you got back there. Is there a story on that?
Oh, you're a basketball hoop.
Basketball hoop?
Oh, me. That basketball hoop is the only thing in the entire room that's not an original. I found it at Hobby Lobby, and I thought it would be cool to have up there.
Okay.
I had an empty space, so I display a Wilt Chamberlain old Topps poster on it. I figured I'd bring it in and use it as kind of a display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's on the backboard?
I got.
Oh wow.
I love my
Wow.
card room.
Man, I can't wait to visit that place.
I hang out here, and like when I'm working on conference calls, I'll just come in here and look through cards while I'm listening.
He definitely
Gotta
has
have your priorities.
a museum there for sure. Wow.
Yeah, I have another.
You know,
card
man,
room too.
I
But, no
just-
displays, just boxes.
This room has taken me 40 years to build. What a
Not this one.
fantastic looking spectacle. I wish my colleagues on Zoom knew exactly what I was looking at.
Oh, that's great.
Man, I love cards.
No, absolutely.
We all do. I mean,
Yeah, but I
I'm
mean,
gonna have a separate facility for them, hopefully soon.
what's the thing next to the mannequin heads to you? Yeah,
Oh, that Babe Ruth fan he's got back there.
he's got the fan, but then to the left looks like a display case with stuff in it.
Yeah, those are all Sweet Capital pins. Fatima,
wow.
Pittsburgh Pirate team card from the championship World Series team in 1909.
Wow.
And I got some domino discs like Christy Mathewson. So I have Ty Cobb, two Cy Youngs, Walter Johnson, Christy Mathewson, Home Run Baker. I may
Is
have
there
the
a
set.
reason? Is there a particular reason you showcase certain things to show up as your backdrop? Do you pick certain things for your
No.
backdrop? No, so it's completely random.
No, this is just my room, and this is where my table happens to be. Actually, I have 3 tables here, but they're always such a mess. I never have any room to work. But I have a table over there with a light, magnifying glass, all my holders, my painter's tape, so that when I put the sleeves over the holders, those things that stick to you with the static. Learned that from Mr. Fisher Bike because my wife would bitch because they're stuck to my feet and I don't know it, and I walk around the house and they're everywhere.
That's what
So you need to use the
that's
tape.
what I said. I said that.
Yeah.
It's like you won't believe it. On my right foot, I had a Willie Mays. On my left foot, I had a Roger Maris.
And he creased the Maris.
I sold that Maris.
That was great.
That Maris sold at my last show.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I got a premium for being on Mangini's foot.
It was on video.
What was it? What Maris?
68 Maris.
Yeah, you know what's coming now, don't you? You know what's started here, Sammy, is you're going to open up Topps 2025, some product. It doesn't have to be Topps, and it's going to be like, what is this? This is the big toe print of one of the latest prospects, serial numbered out of 25.
Oh my God, that's
It's
So-
funny. It's funny you say 68 Mantle Maris, because I have one in my display over there.
oh God. Where's the massage table where Mangini massages the car? Bob is killing it in the chat right now.
Oh man.
Man,
I tell you what, I tell you what I'd like to see, Adam. I would like to see Topps, instead of doing all these big league cards for these breakers and for Jab's family. I'd like to see a Mangini card in there and some collector cards, a Blue Jacket, Dave Blue Jacket, some of those guys in there, instead of all these, these breakers. They're all breakers.
I used to love the big league product. I used to love the big league product. I think I think it's so stupid.
It's the big
Whoever
hit.
said, "Oh, thank God, I pulled a limited short print Jabs family instead of an Otani short print."
Yeah.
Said no one ever.
You know what I think? I think there's some cool things that Topps could do. For example, I mean, when you think about Topps Gilded, the base cards are to 99. So if somebody wanted to put a base card set together, not with the autos, just all out of 99, that's a pretty limited set. But yet they'd have this whole base set that would, I think, look really nice. Something else they could do is, what if they put out a product and there's a bunch of parallels, but let's say every parallel is numbered to something like 999 or 499, just some numbers so that it's not huge, but it's large enough so that if somebody wanted to go after all of the parallels of a certain player or players, they could actually do it, because they don't have any one of ones. It's just like 499 of each parallel.
It's a great idea, Adam, but you know what they're going to have to charge for a product like that? A ton of money, like they charge for the Gilded and for all these other products. They're going to have to charge so much money for that.
Well, I'm thinking you could have, your base cards, which might be not serial numbered at all, but I mean, every single parallel is, let's just say, out of 499, so that a collector actually could collect every single parallel. They wouldn't have to worry about not being able to get the one of ones or the out of fives or that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be a fun thing to do, especially if they picked a smaller set. You don't have to have every player, but putting those parallel set together, that's a good idea. Call Topps.
Yeah.
How about we mix the mayonnaise in with the tuna fish? Call
Yeah.
Starkist. You guys probably don't remember that movie Night Shift from back in the day with Michael Keaton. I'm an idea man, Chuck.
I'm curious. You gentlemen have had a lot more experience than I have with vintage cards. I'm curious. I know that every collector finds their way to collect, and we all do it a little differently for the most part. But what advice would you give, someone who's just starting out, or even someone like me that's been at it for less than 4 years, that might be helpful as they're still figuring out exactly what their collection will look like? I mean, they may have taken some directions, but they're still, it's still kind of morphing. It's still a work in progress, because they're still learning and growing and haven't been at it long enough to say, I know this is how I define my collecting.
Well, I mean, I'll say, first of all, that you have to learn about the hobby. From when I was a little kid, I remember getting all the books, from the Beckett books to even before that. I had CCP guides and just whatever you could find that was history about the cards and stuff like that, I would get. The yearly book that you would get, that big fat Beckett, man, I'd go through that and I read everything in there. I learned about all the cards and all that stuff. And I think it's all about learning. If you really want to develop a collection that you're going to have for a long time, learn about what are you really going to like, And at first, my favorite set was the 53 Bowman. And that was my first 50 set I loved, that I built that set because I just love the pictures on that set, the first actual photos. So that was my first set I fell in love with. But as I read more and started looking at different things, you just went back in time and just read about different players and different cards. So I think when you're going to start a collection, just don't go crazy. Take your time and learn about what you're going to spend your money on. You know, if you're going to spend money on something, you're going to buy a car, you're going to check out all the cars and see, okay, which one am I going to like, and test drive or whatever. Maybe buy one card from the set or something. That's not too valuable. But, you know, do your homework first and see what you're going to like, because then you're going to end up buying a lot of stuff you don't like. You're not going to keep long term. You're going to end up selling it. You know, so I think that's my advice. Do your homework and learn about all the different types of cards there are. And my thing was just to go back and, you know, Jefferson Burdick and all that stuff. I mean, I went way back and just looked at all those guys and stuff. I know John has one of those books there that he recently got, I'm pretty sure. And those are just great. I have reprints of some of that stuff. And, you know, read those, study those. You know, there were old guys like Alan Hager that had old books like that. And I would go back and read all that stuff and look at all these pre-war and the 1910s and 20s and 30s cards. And then I just picked the ones that I liked the best, you know. So when I decided I'm going to get a good Babe Ruth card, I kind of
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost him.
I'll show you the Burdick card. This is the 1953 version.
Orlando got so passionate that he kicked himself off.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's
Thank you, Jason.
There's not one answer. You know, everybody, excuse me. Everybody says collect what you like, and then Mike Petty says don't collect what you like. Collect what you don't like, I guess. There are different.
How much did you have to drink when he said that?
It depends, but he's not wrong, and the other people aren't wrong either. They're both right, because it depends on why you're collecting. You know, if you're just jumping in because you think that, you know, this is a better investment than Bitcoin and the S&P 500, and you're buying for that purpose, that 10 years from now or 20 years from now you want them to be worth money, then you would collect a totally different way than collect what you like. If you're jumping into it because you want to have a hobby and you love baseball or football or whatever, and you want to start card collecting, that's a totally different strategy in my book. So I don't think there's one size fits all, but I'm with Orlando. You know, I grew up collecting in obscurity. I didn't know these things. I had to learn them, and you make mistakes, pick up things, you know, that maybe you know, aren't from the period that you think they are, that kind of thing, because you don't know. So I like to read Beckett Vintage magazine or any other magazine if you're into modern cards, those kinds of things, Sports Collectors Digest. Get yourself a standard catalog of vintage baseball cards and look through that, and it'll tell you what cards there are so you can recognize them. If you're a grading junkie, PSA's magazine is fantastic. I don't like it because they only show 9s and 10s of vintage cards. So, you know, they don't exist in those grades except the ones they're showing. So, like to see that. I don't know. It's like looking at Playboy back in the day when they were all airbrushed. And then you finally see a real woman and you're like, this doesn't look like Playboy. That's what PSA's magazine's like. Yeah. Anyway,
I'll add one more thing to that, John. And if you're really interested in pre-war, go check out Net54. It's a very, very good site, and you know, just go ahead and go through there. People post pictures of things they get, and it's mostly pre-war T206s, and a lot of stuff like that. But it's one of the most interesting sites because the collectors there are people that have been in the hobby for many, many, many years, like us, you know. And if you have any questions, you can ask them questions, and you know, stuff like that. It's another great resource.
That's a good source. But of course, YouTube now, and you know, the people. Here's the thing: the people that have come into the hobby who want to be investors, they watch, I think, just investor channels. And the majority of the investor channels don't know cards that well. And so even if you want to be an investor, you should watch the collector channels because they know cards. so that you know what you're looking at when you're investing. All these investor channels that popped up, they just simply don't know a lot about cards. They're new to the hobby.
So, as somebody that is fairly, like, I think Adam, we're in the same boat as far as getting back or getting into vintage. And for me, it was, I think, about 2021 or early 2021 is when I kind of rediscovered my love for collecting vintage and started a channel out of it. And so my experiences have kind of taken me in many different directions. As I mentioned, set building to rookie cards or first year cards, according to Mangini, because I learned a lot from him from that. To call something a rookie card when it's not a rookie card. But jokes aside, for me, it's, I've evolved into a collector that likes the aesthetic of a card, and so like, I'll just show this card just for the sole reason that we're doing this tonight. I like this card. I'm gonna go solo so everybody can see it a little better. I like this card more than the 1967 Tom Seaver card. This one is the postcard of him. I would pick this one. I would get as many of these as possible, just because of the fact that, one, they're not nearly as common to find, but to me, this is just more appealing to look at than aesthetically. It's a postcard, but it's more appealing to look at. It's a solo image of Seaver during his rookie year, and you got a lot out of this. You get early Shea Stadium. You get an early Shea Stadium photograph, and it's just a great image of him. And so for me, it's, for my personal preference of collecting, I like to look for stuff that is visually pleasing. Like, I am a big fan of the Hires Root Beer. I love the orange or like brown background to the Willie Mays. I think it looks appealing. If this was in a display case and I walked past, I would stop in my tracks to get a closer look at it. Then you move on to like the Transigrams. The Transigrams, classic photo, obviously, of Nolan Ryan. We've seen it in his 69 tops. But something about, to me, it's the red in his name, the photograph, the yellow. It obviously came from the box with the figurine inside. But for me, it's all about the artistry of the card, and if it generates a response to where it has such. I hate the word appeal because we use it so often, but if it's visually pleasing to look at, and it's not something you see at shows all the time, I think it's definitely something that I would love to have in a collection. So for me, I can only speak from my own personal experience. I enjoy the visually pleasing stuff. You don't see at card shows that often. You can go to every table and find a 1969 Topps Nolan Ryan, but it's not often that you'll see a Transigram Nolan Ryan. And again, these, to me, are just really nice to look at. You won't see the postcard, but you'll see hundreds of the 1967 Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver. And so that's my take on it. That's what I love about the collecting, is the stuff that you just don't see too often. And
I've seen the postcards and the oversized cards really go up in value more recently, where they always lagged way behind. And that may be a little bit more of a movement where they're taken a little more seriously. The oversized cards have always, for whatever reason, not been in favor. But there was a time where the overseas Babe Ruths weren't in favor, and you couldn't give them away. So times change. There was a time when nobody wanted an autographed card. So
absolutely, you're seeing more of that now. Autographed cards.
That's one of the reasons that I do say, collect what you like, because that's what I did, and I ended up with cards that are very valuable, that at one time weren't. They weren't well known. People weren't chasing them. If they saw them at a show, they might have passed them up because they don't know what they are. And now, many of those cards, if not most of them, are highly sought. So you never know what's going to happen in the future. If you were one of those guys that collected autographed cards in 1933. You were one of a very few people that did that. But today, those cards are probably worth a fortune. But in the 80s and 90s, they weren't, right? Because it was you had to pay less for an autographed card back then. So things change is my point.
Let me see if I can summarize what I've learned here. There are 3 criteria. 1, John Mangini does not have it. 2, John Mangini really wants it. 3, it will be tough for him to get it. And just to be clear, liking the card is totally optional. Did I get that right?
Right.
Now, may I show another card? Now, here's the deal.
And then I'm next to show my card.
Oh, okay. Now, here's the thing. I suppose this is not that tough to get, but I think it might satisfy the first 2 criteria. But you can tell me if I'm wrong, John, that, John Mangini wants it and John Mangini does not have it. But let me know, because I may be wrong. It is the glorious Lou Alcindor, dare I say, rookie card. And it's got, now this thing is so glorious, John's favorite, because I know he loves these PWCC stickers. It's an E for everyone. Everyone should have it. It's rated for everyone.
I don't mind those, actually. I can care less about the slabs. But how do you know so much about my collection?
I've watched a few of your videos, and then also you're such a wonderful person.
I once said that I didn't have that card and wanted to get it.
You know what? You did. But I'll tell you when.
Adam, I'll do you one.
You said it to me in a comment. I think you watched one of my videos and made a comment.
I almost bought one a couple months ago. I was real close.
I'll do you one better. Hold on one second. I'll do you one better. Does John have this? The Lou Alcindor ruler.
Oh, sweet.
I do have one from that set, but not the Lou Alcindor.
Ooh, score 1 for Sammy Thunder.
Okay.
Come on, guys. I can't have anything.
It's my turn.
I know. It's totally unfair. That's what's so wonderful about this game.
Against what? It's the
no, John. Which one do you have? Which ruler do you have?
Who do I have?
Havlicek, Frazier,
No.
Elvin Hayes.
Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Is it Lou Hudson?
Lou Hudson. All right.
And to be,
I'm drawing a blank at the moment. I got it so long ago.
To be clear, John, it's not 2 against 1 or 3 against 1. It's all against 1. The entire YouTube community is ganging up on you and saying, "Here's a card John doesn't have."
So, Sammy, let me show. Let me tell a little story.
By all means, take
John so give me the Casolo here. At the National, there was a guy that was selling Cuban cards, and I have this one here, which is the Martin Diego. John also has, but the Cuban dealer had the second year of Martin Diego, and Mangini got it under me. And then, I was disappointed there.
The second year is way more scarce. Right. I had to get that one.
I got back at him, so I got a card that he doesn't have.
Orlando, you passed that up. I didn't know. I didn't know you passed it.
Second year Mini Minoso.
Oh, wow.
Ah, nice. Very nice.
He doesn't have that one.
No, I do
not. It's at the stadium, and you see their players in the background there.
I feel like
he doesn't have this one.
I feel like I need to change the title of this video. Hold on.
Caramelo Deportivo, the 46, 47. So John has the Ego, but I got the Minoso.
Okay, let me. Sam,
hold on a second.
You told us that we were supposed to pick cards that had some meaning, like some special meaning to us or whatever. And we haven't done any of that yet.
No, I know. This has become a huge anti-Mangini campaign.
Yeah,
and I realized
I'll tell you what. I'm starting to feel like the Trump of the card collecting community.
Here's the deal, Mangini. Here's the deal. Now, people ask the question, what will people want to collect in the future? And that's a natural question to ask. And it's becoming clear that within the collecting community, there are going to be a cult of collectors whose purpose is to collect whatever you do not have that you want.
That's not easy to get, and it doesn't matter if you want it or not.
That's right.
I got it. I love that criteria.
I changed the title of the live stream. It's Vintage Chill and Chat. Does Mangini have this card?
Nice.
No, you know what? Yeah, honestly, the premise of this whole video that turned into a live stream was to showcase cards that we really enjoy, and I love the fact that Adam has completely hijacked it and turned it into a Mangini. Like, does Mangini have this or not?
Now, to be fair,
All
I
right.
absolutely love those cards that I showed.
I'm going to show a card that has some meaning. But before that, Adam, do you have this 1960 Philly cigar?
I only have it in the gold version. No, I don't. I do not.
Do not.
All right. So here, when I was growing up, when I was a little kid, I stumbled on this book. I remember I was at Walden Bookstore in our local mall.
Walden Books.
And this was sitting up on top in like the bargain book bin. So this is a book of reprints that unscrupulous people would try to sell as real. I mean, honestly, you have to have never seen a card before to think it was real. They don't, you know, they're very hard. They'd be very hard to fake. But anyway, these are a list of all the old, they're perforated cards, reprints of all the old cards back in the day. And so, you know, I cut these out, and some of them just stuck with me, and I wanted them all. But there were a few that were extra special to me in here, and one of them was this. If I can find it here. One of them was this Dizzy Dean tattoo orbit, 33 Dizzy Dean tattoo orbit there.
What is it?
So that was always one of my dream cards. The other one was the 38 Gaudi DiMaggio that he showed, and I got a lot of these. My dream cards from here. Probably venture to say most of them, but so anyway, when I got older, I was able to pick up a nice copy of it.
Wow.
And then
beautiful.
and then I picked up another nice copy of it.
Nice.
What is it about the card that you really like? What is it the what is it about it?
I don't know. You know, I was fascinated when I saw the old DeLongs, 38 Gaudis, these 33 tattoo orbits. Just as a kid, I was just fascinated with these things. The 33 Gaudi, and I was just always drawn to cards. But I was just fascinated with the cards that I was very influenced with cards that I would see in magazines and books, and I chased down many of them. I've shown you guys some other books that I had as a kid where I have most of the cards in them. You know, like I have one that has it's not easy to grab right now, but it has all kind of cards on the cover and all kind of cards on the back. Right, it's just loaded with cards.
You shown
like
that
30
on
cards
videos.
on the cover and 30 on the back. I got them all. Like I ended up with all of them. So I would seek those out because growing up, I mean, you didn't have eBay, you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have very many magazines. You had like Baseball Cards magazine. You had some Beckett when it came out, but you just couldn't learn about these cards so easily like you can today. I mean, if you go on and watch any of us YouTubers, I mean, you're going to see just about every set ever made, right? And you're going to get some information on that. Somebody's going to give you a pop report or something like that. I've had rare cards growing up that I didn't know were rare. We didn't have pop reports, and I didn't see vintage cards that often, so I would have no idea, if it was rare or not. And we have the luxury of knowing that now.
Do you think that's you say it's a luxury, so do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing because You know, I let go some cards back in the day that, man, I wish I didn't. You know, I didn't know how scarce they were. Or maybe I had a chance to get I don't know, a better copy or something. I don't know.
But do you
I
think
don't think
though that
education can ever be bad.
no, I agree with you there, but do you think though that there are people that knowing that information will just buy it for the rarity of it and not appreciate it for anything else beyond that?
Well, from a competitive standpoint, as far as collectors, yes, it's a bad thing, right? Like when I'm looking to get a specific item, I will not talk about it until I win it or get it, because I just don't want to create competition for myself, and if it's something that's scarce, you know.
It's yeah. I mean that sort of topic of conversation can go into we can dive deep into that, but yeah, no, that's the going back to was it the Dizzy Dean card that you were showing? It looked like it was like a red backdrop, and it looked like not rafters, but it looked like stadium seating or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was.
that's what it is.
To
But
me,
it's like
like
a yellow field. It's
oh,
kind of
yellow
funny,
field.
but you know, these are like little works of art. And Dizzy Dean was a great pitcher
That's
and
kind of what I
very
was getting
popular in his day.
at.
And
It's
these are, yeah, the stands over here, red backdrop, yellow.
do we
And you
ever
know, they're kind of like the Diamond Stars, where they're that
It's an Art
what is it,
Deco design.
Art Deco period kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I
I
have most
wonder,
of the
yeah.
set. For people that aren't educated on the set, the biggest, not the scarcest card, but the biggest name scarcest card is the Rogers Hornsby. I have a beautiful copy of it.
Do you jumping? Do you have the Cracker Jack Christy Mathewson?
No,
That's a
That-
tough card.
I've seen him at shows lately.
There's two of them.
Yeah,
yeah,
And there's a portrait.
I like
they're.
the pitching one.
I want to say that Garrett from Ballpark Memories has one, but I could be wrong.
I have a lot of Cracker Jacks, but I don't have that one.
Yeah, that one's cool, but it's too expensive for me.
They've gotten all so expensive, like even the commons.
Is it because it's just a very popular set? Everybody wants to tackle it.
It's a very popular
Yeah.
set, and if you find any in higher grade, you know they're going to sell for a premium, no matter who it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that actually prices are going up quickly, and people really are not realizing it. If you look at some of the Negro League players, all those are going up. The prices on those. If you look at the Cuban cards, there was on the Love of the Game auction, there was a Punch Cigarro card that sold for almost $90,000. I don't know if you saw that one, Pete Hill card, and it's just a lot of the rare stuff that's.
And again, it goes back to education. People didn't know about these players.
Exactly.
They didn't know about these leagues. I mean, I didn't know about Martin DeHigo growing up. Nobody taught me that.
Nobody. Yeah.
And he's possibly the greatest baseball player to ever live.
Exactly.
I'm going to show you guys something.
Look at Minnie Minoso. I mean, people ignored Minnie Minoso, and Minnie Minoso was the first Latin black player in the league. You know,
yeah.
He's the Jackie Robinson.
My dad always taught me about him, and I used to buy his cards up as a kid, so I had most of them. But I didn't know those Cubans existed back then. If it wasn't for YouTube, I would probably never know.
I'll have to give you guys one. I gave Orlando one of these shirts.
I have his T-shirt. I have that T-shirt.
But I'll have to give. I mean, I only have them in X.
What is that?
It's huge, but I have one.
This is a T-shirt that was made in the '90s that my dad put together to celebrate the Negro Leagues, and it's Rube Foster on the front, and on the back is the trademark. Before Jackie,
yeah. An awesome shirt.
It's too bad that they're all way too big, but I mean that's just one example. Let me see if I have another one here. This one is of John Henry Lloyd.
Yeah, Pop Lloyd.
Yep, down the back again.
Yeah. I mean, people forget about all the Negro Leaguers and all that. It's just but Josh Gibson. There was a Josh Gibson card that sold for $86,000 in the Toleteros
Yeah.
So people are now realizing that card has shot up. John, you know those Toletero cards?
Yeah, that's a few years after his playing days, and
It
that's
was after he
probably the
passed
most
away.
expensive card after playing days card there is.
Well, I think that also,
Can I see John's picture there?
Oh, I have a picture of Negro League All Stars with a few of them signed, like Buck Leonard.
all the Grays players.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, man. Two of the greatest teams were from Pittsburgh: the Grays and the Crawfords.
That's right.
Remind me of something, John. There's when I went to Pittsburgh, this was about 20 plus years ago, and I was walking. My dad showed me that on one of the busy streets, like almost looks like it's not a highway, but it's something along like the magnitude of a highway. Yeah, you can cross the street and you can see home plate of where the Grays used to play. There's like home plate is embedded inside the road, and it's
Yeah, I mean that's Homestead. They were the Homestead Grays.
yeah.
And to be honest with you, I don't know if I've ever been to Homestead.
Well, this was maybe I'm
What?
not thinking of the Homestead Grays. I'm thinking of the Pittsburgh Negro League team that played.
I went to the.
So you have let's see here.
You guys have seen my. If you haven't seen my video on Dorsey Park, it's the birthplace of the Negro Leagues. It was down here in Miami, in Overtown, which was used to be called Color Town, and that's where the field is still there, where Satchel Paige pitched from the mound. I stood on the mound that Satchel Paige pitched back in the day, and I showed where Josh Gibson hit a home run over the railroad track behind the field that must have been like a 600-foot home run.
Wow.
And that field is still there. And they took the stands are torn down, but you know, it's a historical place. And that's where they started. The Clowns started there. Ended up being the Indianapolis Clowns, but Rube Foster was the one that actually set up the Negro Leagues right there and created the teams right there in the hotels that were in that area, which were the ritzy hotels for the blacks back in the day. This was back in the early 20s.
Every time we talk Pittsburgh, you got to take it back to Florida.
Hey,
or Orlando, I love that.
So
video.
you mentioned Satchel Paige, who I believe is probably one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
yes.
And going back to Martin DeHigo, Martin DeHigo faced him twice and beat him both times.
Both times.
And Martin DeHigo was also a positional player and played every
Hold on,
position.
Orlando. I'm giving you some
There you are, right
here.
there.
You know how I didn't know that for all those decades is blows my mind.
All right, can you guys
Diego and Satchel Paige.
fill me in on these top loaders that have your custom logos on it, or these
Sure.
graded?
It's got the custom logos. I just put mine on a.
Well, fill me in on how this works. You guys order these?
So these are Mag Pros. They're called Mag Pros. They're made from the company that does Zion cases. You can buy them from their website. However, Columbia House on eBay has them the cheapest. So you could even get them there cheaper than you can from Zion. And they don't publicize that they do these labels. But if you reach out to them, they will do them. And I have a contact I've shared with. Man, there's probably at least 10 people I know of that is ordering these labels now.
Dylan's converting his entire collection to that. With his custom labels.
Adam Splendid Sports, Hitman 23,
right.
Lou Rock's labels are real cool.
Yeah.
Adam's Splendid Sports, his labels are real nice too. I think Lou Rock has the best. And then Aaron, AD collection. Who else? There's more. And then I have people that comment all the time, hey, I just ordered some of those.
I will say it'll be an ultimate fantasy to find one of those at some antique shop. Like, oh my God, there's a collector's dream card. They didn't take it out of the mag safe; they just left it in there. I have to buy it. I mean,
yeah.
Well, the thing is for a lot of us who aren't all goo for Cocoa Puffs over grading and think that those guys know everything. Some of us like to just have a nice display for our cards. We don't want a number on it, and we don't want to send it off and risk it getting damaged or lost. So we do this. I love them.
So those are
Look at them.
they're kind of like a one touch, except they're like slab sized and they have a slot for a label, but you can open them up if you want, right? It's a magnetic thing.
Yeah, so they have two magnets, one here and one here, and they're secure. You got to pull on them, but they're just a one touch with an area for a label, and they give you 3 labels with them. One is just a plain Mag Pro label. One has a price, a dollar sign, and you can write in the price if you want, if you're a dealer. And the other one is just some lines that if you want to write down what the card is, so that you can remember it, what year, whatever. So those are the 3 that come with it. And then like I said, if you reach out to them, they'll create. Now their customer service is just unmatched. So I reached out to them and said, I'd like to get some custom labels, and they said, okay, well, this person handles it. She'll get back to you. So she got back to me shortly after, and I told her what I wanted her to say. She's like, we'll do some mock-ups for you. Sent that over like in no time. They did all these mock-ups, like a whole sheet of them, and said, if you have suggestions, we could go do more, but this is what we have for you right now. So this one I liked. So I sent back and said, I like this one. I want to order some labels. So she said, okay, sent me a PayPal invoice and shipped them that day. So they created them, printed them, and shipped them the same day I reached out to them.
Wow.
How many are there total when they ship them? How many can you?
Well, you can order however many you want. If you want 10, if you want 50, if you want 100. What I like, and they just changed the labels. They're way nicer now. This has like a texture to it. It's almost, I don't know, like sparkly. It has more of a texture. It's a little more rubbery feeling, and it fits in here better. So anybody that's ordered these, if you order your next batch, they're going to be different. They switch printers, they switch to paper, and they're fantastic.
How expensive is, like, if you want to order 100? Or what was your order looking like?
So I think 100 of them are $40. 100 labels.
Oh wow, that's actually not bad. I was thinking they're going to be more.
They charge you a one-time fee to design it and prep it. I think that's $40, and then I think it starts to like $15 for 10 or $10 for 10. I don't remember, but they're really not expensive because where else are you gonna get these things?
Bob is saying that he's acquiring you this year.
He's acquiring me?
Yeah, Bob Boozle LLC to acquire the Mangini collection in 2024.
Good one.
Watch out, because Bob Boozle's going to fake those labels and put them on his cards and say, look, from the Mangini collection.
I think
But
Bob
they're
Boozle.
No one would
Boozle
care.
cards.
I think
Maybe
Boozle
it
giving
adds
Teddy a
zero-
run for his money.
It might it had zero value and might actually devalue the card.
So Dylan is saying order enough. It's $2 each.
$2 each slab.
For the slabs, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he orders 500 at a time. But they worked with him because they didn't ship to Hawaii, I guess, and they were willing to do it for him. So
hey guys, ship to me.
no, they're awesome. I mean, the clarity on these things. I mean, if you compare them to the clarity of graded slabs, there's just no comparison. You put these next to a PSA, and they look so dingy compared.
Is that a Venezuelan?
Yeah.
Let's go look at
Those
that.
are nice, yeah.
Well, with our original discussion, this was one of the cards that I was going to pull out because
Whoa! Show them off.
Oh,
Man.
okay.
I have 3 with the Venezuelan.
Can never. Oh, sorry. Let me go back.
Let's take a good look at those.
Hold on. Go back to solo.
It's a
Oh,
nice
man.
copy of a Venezuelan, as you know. These are
That is.
usually beat up. It's really nice.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty nice, man.
Of course, 99.9% of them have a little paper loss on the back because the Venezuelan kids would always put them in the album.
Now I have to show my
Those
Venezuelan.
are cards that also have gone way up in price in the last 5 years.
Yes.
Oh, the Retirado. That's a beautiful card.
I can't quit looking at these Dizzy Deans, man.
Look at that.
This one.
Yeah,
Oh, it's got the complete back.
Yeah.
That is
that
so tough to
retired player
find.
set's pretty cool. And the regular cards are pretty cool too.
That's a great card. Yeah.
I mean, that's so. Whenever I am at the Garfield show in New Jersey, there's a guy, and I texted you about this, or John. There's a guy who had a lot of the Venezuelan stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Brian Fish is the guy's name, and his father is always working with him. It's always them two together. And so every time I go to the table, I mean, the father never remembers telling me this, so he tells this to me every single time, which is fine. But he goes, don't, like, Venezuelans, you got to buy the Venezuelans. That's the future. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, yeah, and he's looking at his own display case, which has all different like the entire Topps Maze run. He goes, I see this crap every day, all the time. It's the Venezuelans. That's the stuff you want.
Yeah, like, the problem is that they're so beat the crap and back, and everybody wants to charge an arm and a leg for them, no matter what condition. They could be cut in half. So I don't really shop for them often because I just, I want a clean copy. I don't care if it's a 1. I don't care if it has paper laws, but I want a clean copy, and they're hard to find. And I'm not going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for a card that just doesn't, bothers me every time I look at it.
Yeah.
And since the boom, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like if you have a Babe Ruth and it's cut in half, they're asking $20,000. It's just ridiculous that some of the condition on some of these things and what they're asking for them. And I suspect they sit there for a long time.
But you see, John, this is the beauty of my criteria, because I don't have to be bugged by condition. The card only has to satisfy 3 criteria. By the way, I don't have tons of scarce cards, hardly any, but I do have this Los Reyes del Deporte, Propagandas Montiel, in a pristine 1, Johnny Mize. Really nice on the back too.
Okay, you didn't get me. You didn't get me with that one. I have that one. Come on, show some other cards. Let's see what.
That's a beautiful Cuban issue, the Propagandas Montiel.
This would be a fun game, Adam. You can show a card, and I'll tell you if I have it or not.
I will follow Adam with another Mathewson, as I've shown this before.
Yeah, you Mathewson super
there
collectors.
It is,
I
another
can't compete.
Propagandas.
Yeah,
nice.
Another nice one.
Sorry, my camera sucks. It doesn't want to focus. That's what you get when you pay $20 for your camera. Ah, there you go.
All right.
Focused.
That's a point for you.
That's a beauty.
Yeah.
It's got the full back too.
It does. It's a little smoked, but somebody might have had a nice cigar when they were opening this card.
Maybe Pepino owned that card at one time.
Pepino.
All right, John challenged me. I've got a card I'm pretty sure he doesn't have, and there's only 50 of them in the world. The 2022 Topps Gilded Mini Diamonds, Willie Mays. Woohoo!
There it is.
Of course, it might not be a card that John wants, so it might not satisfy the criteria.
Well, with the modern greats cards, I mean, my God, there's a million of them. You could never collect them all.
But here's the deal. This one is super glorious. These mini diamonds are super glorious. It's elegance, class.
Listen, Adam, get that thing out of my face, okay? I'm getting blinded. The eclipse hasn't happened yet. The eclipse is happening in a few days. We don't need it. We don't need any sort of any pre-show by you showing that Willie Mays shiny stuff, okay?
Orlando, you collect that shiny stuff?
No. I'm going to show something now that I collect. A card that I'll never sell. How about that? And a card I think that John's going to like, but it's got some special meaning, and I'll talk about it in a minute. And I know John has this card.
Mm.
The one that was in Roberto Clemente's personal collection. It says there. And 2 reasons why I love this card. First of all, because Theo helped me get this card. And second of all, because about 25 years ago, I met Vera Clemente.
Ooh.
I was able to sit down with her at it was like a charity event that we sponsored along with the Marlins when the Marlins first started. And Vera Clemente was sitting next to me in the table next to me with her son, Roberto Jr. And I was able to talk to her for a while. And that's my business card. So, and I've shown that in my videos before. So that's the business card. And this just ties right back into that time when I sat down and I talked to Vera Clemente for about 15 minutes. And she talked to me about Roberto and how he just loved baseball so much that he dedicated his life to baseball and to charity. And, you know, it was just incredible to just sit down and spend some time with Vera Clemente. And then 25 years later, I end up getting this card that was owned by Clemente and was sold by Vera Clemente. And it was tied into YouTube where Theo helped me get that card, which he has and other YouTubers have, like Blue Rock and others. And that kind of, it's a card I'll never sell because it has meaning, because it all ties it all together for me. But it also ties me to some of my favorite YouTubers, you know, like Blue Rock and all the Theo and all the other guys that I was able to meet at the National. So it's got a lot of meaning to me, that particular card.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Hey, John. So, okay,
Yes, sir.
this might be a card that we'll give it a shot. This is the Barry Bonds 93 Finest Refractor. Woohoo! Graded by Prostate Size Assessment Company.
Those are hot. Those are hot cards.
Only
What did I
about
tell you,
200
man?
known to exist.
Only like 243-ish or something like that. Yeah.
Look, man, I told you. I don't collect those shiny cards. I mean, that one is a little less shiny than the other one. Oh, hold on.
Do you have?
I got something to show you.
Do you have the nationwide insurance?
Nationwide is on your side.
No.
Only the gold version. No, I don't.
That's the answer every time.
That's right. Oh, yeah. I know you kick my butt easily. I'm just having a good time. I'm just
No,
asking to get my butt kicked, really.
It's funny because like we'll have a text going and people will show a card and then I'll go and look for my photo and shoot it if I have it. It's a fun game to play.
So, Adam, I know
match
you haven't
game.
done a video on it yet, but just to kind of reiterate, so a fellow comrade YouTube content creator reached out to me and saw that I had the. Are you about to show it?
Want me to? You let me know when.
No, it's you. Pretty much, I was just going to say, yeah. So I had this in my I had this in my inventory, and a content creator reached out and says, I want Adam to get this card, but don't tell him that I paid for it, or don't tell who paid for it. And so I guess it's going to remain a mystery for now. So I'll show that in solo. The 1954 New York Journal American I had, and Eddie Lopat, and at the time I was like, I didn't realize how big of a Lopat collector that Adam was. And so this person who will go nameless reached out and said, hey, send this to Adam. And I was like, okay, I will do so, but don't tell
What
Adam.
a fantastic gift.
Yes, it's in the Double D.
I love that frame.
Custom frame that I won in one of his contests, and I love it. I tell you what, whoever this wonderful anonymous person is, and heck, for all I know, it could be one of you gents or somebody in the live stream, but whoever it is, I am most grateful. That is such a really sweet card.
There's the Jackie Robinson from that set.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Are we going to do that, huh? Hold up.
Here comes the Willie Mays.
Yeah, it's coming. It's
Here comes
coming.
the
It's
Willie
coming.
Mays.
It's coming. Of course it is.
Oh.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, that is. Oh, I want one.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You'll probably find one if you're coming to the National, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a good feeling about this one for you.
Well, I'm feeling for you guys a little bit. I mean, I'm happy for you, but the low pack kind of trumps the Maze and the Jackie. So
Oh, for sure. It does. No doubt.
Oh,
those.
wow.
Yeah, why do you got to do that, huh? Why you have to throw shade like that?
With
Because
the
you
I
like
have
tab,
one
Maze.
too.
Just because you have the tab and I don't have it doesn't make you better than me.
He's got that big tab on that car.
He does have the big tab.
You-
I saw
Briggs
one
meat?
recently. I saw Burke Ross. That's the Burke Ross, right? No.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. This is a Briggs meat.
Oh,
Oh,
Briggs
man.
meat. Let me go solo on that.
He's bringing out the heavy hitters now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing to me,
You'll
man?
find more Stallmeyer than these.
Oh man.
I only
Show
have
the back of that, John. Let me see the back of that.
Well, these
it?
were inserted in hot dog
Okay.
packages.
So it's blank
So they
back.
came. They were two to a tab, and they were cut. You know, you cut them in half.
You
Cut
just
the card
blew me away, John. I love
That's
those
beautiful,
cars.
yeah.
And you too, Sammy. That's good.
Yeah, I put my I just bought the tabbed version. Oh no, the no tabbed version of the officially issued Hires Root Beer and then the test issue. But yeah, no, I would love to get one that has the tab, but I mean they're so tough to find.
You know what? I mean, for the most part, I prefer them without the tab.
Mm-hmm.
They're way easier to store, and they look more like a baseball card.
But just to be clear, Mangini, you're willing to pick up the tab?
You know it, Adam. You've hung out with me at the National.
Absolutely, man. He bought so many beers for everybody. I was like, yep, I can use another beer. Is Mangini paying? Absolutely.
Even when I didn't have any money, I picked up tabs. That's just what we did back home. You would fight over the tab.
First time
But
I
you know,
met John,
I was
I
talking
said,
earlier about things change. This is one of those things.
Oh,
You know, people didn't know about this.
Did I
card.
freeze or
It didn't
did John
sell for very
freeze?
much, and now it goes for a lot of money. But
Yeah.
that's another one of those things where I just collected what I wanted, what I liked. I knew it was scarce. I didn't care that it wasn't worth a lot of money. I just knew it was scarce, and as a collector, wanted it. And you know, years later, well, not even years later, just a few years later, blows up.
Well, let's blame Rick Vintage Oddball Cards for all that stuff going up.
Yep. Yeah, we have to stop telling everybody about these great cards until we have them all.
Right.
Speaking of great cards, I'm gonna keep doing this until Doug finally realizes that he has to acknowledge that he won something from the 2,000 subscriber that Orlando and I did. I still have his Jim Palmer rookie that's sitting here. He hasn't. I every time. So I'm doing this now. Dougie K, this is yours. Please reach out to me. We're not too far away from each other. I can actually hand deliver this to you if you really want me to.
Is he in New York City?
No, he's on the other. He's I forget where he is, but not too far.
No, he works in New York City.
Yeah, I had a feeling
But doesn't live there.
That's the area he was from.
Hey, Chris.
I could just tell. Dougie K, love him.
Yeah.
I get a
great
kick out of
guy.
him.
Yeah.
He hasn't done one of his alter ego videos in quite a while, but they're
Oh,
always
but
hilarious.
No,
did a
I
great
thought
video
he was,
with the kids,
like an actor.
Oh,
when
yeah.
he first came onto YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does for a living, but I suspected he was like an actor or something because
He definitely
he's
has
funny.
the right attitude for it.
Yeah.
Bunny video with the kids, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I
he-
just saw that one. Yeah.
He's an IT guy.
Oh, is he?
No
Okay.
way.
Yeah.
IT guys don't have that kind of personality.
Yeah.
The mayor of Strongsville has arrived.
Yeah. Chris is it.
Hello and welcome.
Chris from
Welcome
Missouri,
to
yeah.
another video about baseball cards.
Welcome to another video where I talk about vintage base. Yeah,
And remember,
I
it's
have to
just
work
a
on
hobby.
Today.
Collect what you like.
Hey, I'm going to show you some cards.
Yeah. So, anyway.
All right, I'm going to do my Theo impersonation.
Oh, boy.
You guys want to see my Clemente base run again?
Just hit replay.
Yeah, I show the same cards multiple times, partially because I'm excited about it and partially because I have a somewhat limited, collection. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess limited is relative, but
I always bust his chops. You know, I did those impersonations, and I kept repeating him because he's a fellow Pittsburgh Clemente collector.
No pun intended.
Adam, you can show the same cards as long as you, we see you out of the closet every once in a while.
Okay, all right. Well, Mangini, remember when we did the back and forth where
Yeah.
you impersonated me, impersonating you?
I think that was the least liked video I ever did.
Oh, it's probably the most.
I mean, you and I had fun.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
People were taking me seriously. Why are you trying to scare him? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? We're having some fun.
Well,
like,
actually,
nobody's trying to scare anybody.
When you had texted me and you had said, I don't know if we should go on with this because, there's some people that aren't liking it. I'm like, okay, then you know what this means. We have to continue on.
Yeah, you did another one. It was all in good fun. People, it's funny. Like when I was growing up, everybody had a sense of humor. And now everybody gets triggered about the dumbest stuff that's meant to be a joke.
Listen, the hobby's not a joke, man. Vintage collecting, this is a serious business, You got to find the best deals possible. And if you're going to laugh, I don't want to be friends with you.
See, you could bust my chops and I laugh. It's funny.
That's right. We've been picking
nobody
on John
offended.
the entire live stream here.
If I see a Burke Ross, you better believe I'm gonna keep a straight face. There's no laughing, nothing to laugh about. This is no. So yeah, Mookie says humor equals overrated. After hanging out with Mookie a number of times, he is a riot to hang out with. Him and I and his buddy Pete going to. All right, I'll fill you in. So Mookie and his buddy Pete, they've been friends since probably middle school, and so I got to hanging out with them. I got to kind of like a clear view on their friendship. And so we get to the Philly show because we were going to the Philly show from Jersey, and they're driving, and we were going out there. And we get there, and we're like, oh, we got to, definitely got to hit the bathroom. I got to pee before we go to the walk around. And so, so Mookie's busting Pete's chops. He's always like saying, come on, let's go, hurry up. We're waiting in a bathroom line, and he's doing that from the line outside the bathroom.
Oh, no.
Inside, he goes, Pete, come on, let's go, hurry up, come on. And I didn't realize at the time. I was kind of just getting my I have like a harness where I can put my phone for to film the show, which is what I do now. Instead of doing it with my hands, I just put it on like a chest mount. And so at the time I was waiting in the line. I'm like, I'm just getting it ready. And then like Mookie turns to me, he's like, what the hell are you doing, man? You gotta go in the bathroom with that? And I'm like, oh, you're probably right. I better put this away. I don't want people to get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
I think that certainly as some card prices go up, like a lot of the stuff, Orlando and John, that you guys had collected some years ago, and there wasn't nearly as much demand for it, and you were picking it up because you loved it, which I think is super cool. And now there's, more demand for a lot of that stuff, and it's scarce or rare. So, it's become very hard to come by a lot of it, and it's gotten pretty expensive. So this, I think, impacts what collectors go after as well. They might like to go after some of those cards, but they're either, so scarce that they don't come around that often, or they're, so expensive relative to one's budget that they're just kind of priced out. So they're like, well, okay, yeah, I'd like to collect those, but that's just not going to work out so much. I guess it's kind of similar to what you were saying earlier, John, about how, you've chosen to have a much broader representation rather than having a few $20,000 cards or whatever, however many that might be. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of cards I'd like to have that, and, maybe I'll get a few of them, but it's just the price is, the price is so far up there relative to my budget that even though I'd love to have them, I won't be getting any or many of them just for that reason. I'm not complaining, just what it is.
Yeah, well, same here. I mean, I don't pay unlimited amounts of money for cards.
Well, I guess what I have to say about that, it's just, you know, long term, if you really think about it, Adam, it doesn't really necessarily have to be just the rare or stuff. But if you think about vintage in general, if you were buying vintage 10 years ago and you look at it what it is today, you've made money. And think about it 10 years from now. Where are we going to be 10 years from now? 10 years from now, we're going to go back and we're going to be saying, God, I wish I had that card or that card or that card or that card. And it's not just, it's not really investing. It's just we're old. We've been collecting for so long. We've had cards for such a long time. If you think about it back when Alan Rosen sold that, now the 9.5 mantle, he sold that for $57,000 back in the day. And Marshall Fogel bought the Gem Mint 10 52 mantle for $100,000 back in the day. And in those days, people would say, oh, that's a ton of money. But, so if you really think about it, in general, most vintage cards of Hall of Famers, in my opinion, 10 years from now are going to go up again. They're going to be worth more. I just think it is, because you're going to get a lot of the collectors like us, like John and I, won't be selling ours. And there'll be more people that will be coming into the market, I think, to get more vintage. I see it already. And the demand is going to be even more. So I just think it's just going to, as time goes on, they just become more valuable now. We don't know which one in particular are going to be more than the other, but I think in general, your collection, Adam, 10 years from now, you're going to look back and you're going to say, man, I'm so glad that I got that 38 DiMaggio back when I got it. Because it's going to be $20,000+ card that you're talking about now.
Wow. Well, I could see some real appreciation for sure, especially for particular cards. I guess kind of my thought was that if a collector doesn't go after certain cards, and this is true for everyone, whether they have a large budget or a smaller budget, it doesn't necessarily mean that those cards don't interest them or they wouldn't have a desire to own them. It just might be that, it would require too much saving. It would be too big of a purchase relative to their budget, or they're just so tough to find. But as far as which card is going up in the future, most people won't say it, so I'll just say it. This card is going up in the future. The 1941 play ball, Ted Williams, particularly in the grade of 2. But yeah, I love this card. There's the back.
Hold on, I'm coming back. I'm getting some things I want to show. Here
Look,
it comes.
a few years ago, this card,
look at that.
you could pick it up cheap. A few years ago, you could have picked that up a few $100, a couple $100 and a 5. And today,
that's a card I hope to join you on, Orlando, and I hope to have a copy of that card at some point. I probably will, of course, but
yeah,
I love it.
One that you do have is this.
Oh yeah, we're clubbies on that. That's beauty. I've seen yours. It's a beauty.
Youngster. What do you got? What do you got, John? I know you want to find something special.
Oh, I was just gonna say I get a point for that one.
Oh, nice.
Clubbies.
Oh, sweet. Let me get mine again. I got to get it.
What you really have to get are the paper versions of the play balls.
Oh yeah, I don't have the paper. Let's show our.
And I have
and John has the actual sheet, uncut sheet too.
Let's show our teddies together here. Two, just like Rob Gronkowski said, two teddies.
Oh my God!
I don't think you and I should. I don't think anybody should go around saying that we were in teddies.
There's the highlight of the video right there.
That is.
Isn't that what Rob Gronkowski said after the Super Bowl win? Two teddies. Maybe the humor wasn't great.
This is a beautiful card. Let me show you.
Hold on. Drum roll, please.
See, this is why I love my room so much. There's so much eye candy in front of me right now.
This room, I swear, if it had a mirror, it wouldn't reflect me. It would reflect all my stuff, and it would say, "Love me tenderly."
There you go. This card's beautiful.
Beautiful card. Oh man,
Oh, yeah. I want that card.
this is Dylan Supreme right here.
Beautifully set.
Oh, that is stunning.
Yes,
If
it
Dylan-
is.
Yeah, this is just a phenomenal card for the grade. So is my usual.
Oh, those are
Wow.
stunning.
Beautiful.
And my Ruth.
Wait, hang on,
Uh-oh.
How about these?
hang on,
Oh man, Teddy Williams.
and wait, don't let me go yet. I'm going to get it out of this baggie here.
All
The
right.
pristine one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get something.
Woohoo! Yeah, Orlando, you got to get in there, man. We've been hogging the airtime.
Oh man, hold it.
Oh, sweet, sweet.
Hold my beer. I got something better to show you.
Hold your
So
dinner.
how
Did you
about
say?
these? Hold on.
Oh, those are beautiful.
All right, if we're gonna go that route, I got one of
I'm sure you have the Mathewson, right?
Orlando and I traded for it.
Poor Orlando is not getting any cards in.
Now hold on, is he back yet? No, he's not back yet. All right, I can show this. This is Orlando and I made a trade.
I remember that.
Yeah, courtesy of Fort Collectors.
Yeah, those are tough to find. How about some football love? Any football collectors?
Nah, man, you're on your own with that.
Slinging Sammy Baugh, baby. Bobby Lane.
Anybody here appreciate football? Crickets. No, that's cool, man.
Really sweet. Really sweet.
All right,
How about
Orlando.
Bill
Okay,
Dudley?
all right, let's do it. So what was he was showing this, right?
Oh,
he's
yeah.
on the yeah.
The Leaf
Showing that
Premium.
We're
The
clubbies
Leaf
on this
Premium.
one. I gotta grab my. Adam's gonna have a heart attack if I don't show the clubbies with Orlando.
Oh, yeah. That is gorgeous.
Show the Mathewson so we can be clubbies for a second.
What do you have?
Adam.
Hey, Orlando, you have 3 versions? Do you have
Wow.
orange?
Wow.
Oh, my bad. Let me go back.
What, you don't have the orange? Come on, man.
There is no orange. That's the one. This was the one that Dave Blue Jacket wants to get from me. And then I got the blank.
Nope. Hold on. Go back. I keep going out.
That's the one I like.
Yeah, this one's nice too. And then this is a regular one.
Yeah, well,
So
when you
sweet.
send Blue Jacket that other one, you could send me that one.
Yeah, yeah. And then this one,
Oh, I keep going.
Is that the Gehrig?
the Garrick. Yeah,
That is
How
beautiful.
long have you had those?
for a long time.
Give it to me.
I don't know.
I'll pay you
30
80%.
years.
A lot of
30
people,
years or so.
a lot of people don't know about these.
I got them all. Yeah.
Show the
They
Mathewson.
were 1 per box.
Let's see.
So
yeah,
Adam-
1 per box. Hold on 1 second here.
Adam wants us to be clubbies, so we have to be. This is a requirement.
That's the box.
Oh man.
Nice.
That's the top of the box. See, it says free big picture
Wow.
when you of one of baseball's all-time greats to the purchaser of the last package. And then the packs of cards, you get 5 cards. They call them pictures, 5 cards per pack. But that's the top of the box. And then the free big picture, which is called the baseball all-time greats, are these. This one. Grover Cleveland, Walter Johnson, John McGraw.
You have the whole set.
Yeah, I got the whole set.
I've been
I didn't
knocked
know there was
out.
that.
I didn't know there was a John McGraw in that set.
Oh,
Yeah.
there it
And
is.
the
There it
Mathewson,
is.
there it is. Christy Mathewson.
That
I
is
got this
awesome.
one.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
you got that set long time ago.
Yeah. Mickey Cochran.
Sorry, I'm gonna go back to
I
Orlando.
was just showing them all. Mickey Cochran. And then the last guy is Ed Walsh.
Big
These
Ed
are
Walsh.
really tough. Ed Walsh is tough to find.
Did you
So
do
that's
you
it.
have the 34 Butterfingers?
No, I do not.
Who then?
I'm working on that set.
I
That's
got
a tough set, yeah. But yeah, those are tough, and the two toughest ones are these two roofs, because these came in the high series, in the short print series. The regular ones, the regular 49s brought these, which are the ones I showed you there.
Man, I'm slumming it. I just have the normal one.
You got
Hey,
the Luke, you got
Orlando.
the Garrick, you got a bunch of them.
Orlando, I wonder if you have this, and Adam, a Caitlin Clark rookie card.
I do not.
No, do not.
That's
Oh, got us on that one.
Well
How about a Tiger Woods?
Well played. Well played.
I do not have that.
I knew you guys wouldn't have anything non-baseball. I'm just messing around.
No, it's all good. Hey, I knew you guys could easily kick my butt. I was just, I was trying to turn the game around and say, can I find a card that Mangini wants that he does not have?
Yeah, it's all fun, man. It's not a competition.
It's great. It's great.
I mean, in fun, kick
no
my
one
butt.
would beat Orlando if it was a competition.
No,
Orlando would take everything.
John's got, John's got everything. I mean, he's got pretty much every an example of every card, in every set, and I think that's incredible.
Yeah, that's why I don't have some of the big ones, because you can't have everything, right?
Absolutely.
Or can you? I certainly try.
Well,
but you have
Corey.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Corey Seager, Corey. It's not. It's a Topps Heritage.
Oh. But John, would it be fair to say, and maybe Orlando too, although I don't know, since you've kind of cut your collection down some, Orlando, but would it be fair to say, John, that you have all the players pretty much, or at least all of the Stars, Hall of Famers, notable players for various reasons? You may not have all of their cards, but you name a player, you've got them represented with probably in most cases multiple cards.
There's a few, if we're talking playing day cards. I have just about everybody, if you include great sets, but if we're talking playing days cards, the one player that has eluded me that I really, really want is one of the greatest early players, and that's Big Ed Delahanty. I don't have him. Let's see. I have King Kelly, Cap Anson, Clarkson, Keefe. Dan Brothers. I need a playing days Dan Brothers, and Billy Sunday.
Yeah.
Dummy
Hoy.
Dubby Hoy.
I'll be right back.
And I'm sure there's a few others. But of the really big players, I think Ed Delahanty and Dan Brothers are the two big ones missing. But like from the early 1900s on, I have them all.
What about you, Orlando?
Yeah, I'm kind of doing what John's doing. Well, not as big as him, but I'm trying to collect one or two cards of all the Hall of Famers. And as far as the 1800s, since I focused a little bit more on that, I'm trying to pick up two cards of each Hall of Famer, and the same thing all the way up to the 50s. And then from there, I'm going to focus my collection in getting for example, Hank Aaron. I'm going to find my 4 favorite Hank Aaron cards, and that's what I'm going to do. This is what Adam from Splendid Sports is doing, and I really like that. So, for example, Ty Cobb, I have one Ty Cobb card. I got the T205, but I want to get another Ty Cobb, probably the Red Portrait or something like that. We'll see, or maybe an oddball Ty Cobb. I mean, I have a postcard of the Ty Cobb team and stuff, but so that's kind of my thing. I want to get 2 Walter Johnson cards, nice Walter Johnson cards, 2 of each Hall of Famer pre-war, and then 4 cards of each Hall of Famer. Other than
you shouldn't be a quitter though. Adam's a quitter. He quits at 4.
Yeah. But see, so that allows me to do is I could sell some cards of some of those players. If I have six or seven Clementes, I'm probably going to whittle that down to 4 of my favorite Clemente cards. You know what I mean?
Well, this
and
is
work
really
that route.
Oh man, I could never sell a Clemente.
this is exactly what John does, except the number's not 4; it's 10,000. He limits himself to 10,000 favorite cards of each player.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I like to have the player runs for everybody, like, because I have all the sets. Like, I have near sets
Yeah.
from the early 1900s on, right? Like, you go T207, I have a near set, or at least a good sized starter set. Tattoo Orbit, not too far off. DeLong, not too far off. T205, not too far off. So I've just worked on all these sets over the years.
Yeah. I'm just getting older.
There are so many
John.
great cards that aren't the 52 Mickey Mantle,
Yeah.
and you could have most of them for the same price as that one card.
That's true. That's true. But look, in a couple of years, I'm going to be 70 years old. Believe it or not.
You look fantastic, man.
Thank you very much. I try to keep myself in shape as best I can, but it just gets to a point that I start whittling it down. So
Why?
Because
What
I
else
can't
you
do
gonna
all
do
this
in
for my
retirement?
family. They'll kill me. They don't even know half the stuff. The reason I started my YouTube channel was really just to document all my collection, because I had so much stuff that I got to put this on video. Nobody even knew what I had. So
all right, Orlando, I'm bringing a U-Haul down there. I'm heading down to Lauderdale, and you're gonna have
eventually,
the Orlando wing of my museum.
I mean, but it gets to a point that at least for me, I need to just kind of keep what I really really love. I'm not going to sell any of these. I'm not going to sell any of these premiums or anything like that. They're just going to stay in my collection. But there's a lot of other stuff that come on, it's everywhere. I can pick it up if I ever wanted it. I can buy it again. But for the most part, I'm going to just focus on some of that stuff, that pre-war kind of rare type stuff. That
Yeah, but you know what?
that John has.
There were lots of cards that I thought I could get at any time too, and that all changed in a day. So when you say I can always buy it back, you might not get. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
because I mean, like this Briggs meat, there's no way I'd pay for what this is going for now. No way.
Yeah, no.
So I wouldn't have it.
But I mean, there's cards, cards like these, you can get anytime. You can buy these all the time. They're everywhere. I mean,
I'll tell you what, these tattoo orbits.
Cards. These are not like.
What these tattoo. I just want to say those are cheap. They're still cheap. It's unbelievable to me.
Yes. There's
Jimmy Fox, really... Dizzy Dean, Rogers Hornsby.
Where's my pen? I need to take notes.
You got that Mel Ott. I think that I was going to get that at the National. You bought it from Ryan.
Orbit.
Which Mel Ott?
Mel Ott Tattoo Orbit.
What else? Hold on.
No, he doesn't have a tattoo orbit.
No, not
Leaf.
Was it Mel Ott or was it? No, it was Jimmy Fox.
Yeah. Jimmy Fox.
I think you got 2 of them.
Jimmy Fox.
I have 2 of them. Yeah, I have 2 Jimmy Foxes and 2 Dizzy Deans, and then I have these rare foxes.
I gotta trade that with him. John doesn't even trade.
The 33 Wirch cigar, 2 different versions.
Hold on, keep it up there.
I gotta see those.
You got the sepia toned and the brighter one.
Nice.
Sepia.
I want to get
two slightly
brighter
different
one.
So here's an interesting question. If I realize this is hypothetical, but if you had all the knowledge you have right now, but you had no card for whatever reason, right? And so you were just starting to collect right now with all of your knowledge, but your collection's at ground zero, not a single card. What might you go after, or what might your strategy be, or what might you try to collect?
Oh, that's super easy for me. I would buy a Mickey Mantle, 52 Mantle. I would wait about a year. I would sell it for a profit, and then I would go out and buy all the cards I really want. All the 33 Gowdy, Babe Ruths, the early Tobacco Ty Cobbs. I mean, you can have for what that card sells for, you can have all the great cards. The DeLong Lou Gehrig, You can have that DiMaggio of yours.
Yeah.
You can have all the great cards for what that one sells for.
Yeah.
That would be my strategy.
Yeah. My strategy, get that big one card. No, just kidding. But I got it. No, what I would.
I seriously would do that. I just have to delay my collecting for a year.
I go after the Hall of Famers. I mean, I'll do what I did. I went after the Hall of Famers that I liked. I was a big Mickey Mantle fan, and I went after Hall of Fame goats. Is that what I?
Yeah, if Clemente had a 52 tops, I would have had it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I went after the players that I liked. Like growing up, it was always known that Willie Mays was the greatest modern player. So I have all the Mays cards. That's who I chased more than anything. I chased Clemente, Mays, Aaron, more than Mantle growing up.
Yeah.
He just wasn't. He wasn't a guy I chased. I had his cards, but just wasn't all goo for him like everybody is. In fact, I chased DiMaggio more than him for sure.
Well, I became a fan of the Yankees. They played spring training here in Fort Lauderdale, so I went to see them spring training back in the day. But it's just Clemente, Aaron, Mays, all those guys. Ted Williams, Stan Musial. You can't go wrong with any of those guys.
Yeah, Musial is another one that I would chase. Just one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
Yeah.
But I was always fascinated with DiMaggio,
Me too.
Musial, of course, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Honus Wagner.
Yeah.
And of course, Willie Mays and Hank Aaron and Clemente.
And I mean, you can't go wrong with any one of those guys. If you want to start collecting cards and collecting vintage, I mean, any of those guys are, depending on your budget, of course. If you're going to start collecting mantles now, it's going to get expensive. But,
Yeah, and you always run the risk. I mean, it's so astronomical. I mean, even you see them. What's that one I saw? They were passing it around. It was cut out. Like it wasn't even the whole card. And they're asking ridiculous, stupid money for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
It's very possible that could come down at some point. You never know.
Yeah.
Or it could just go up forever, just like the stock market and everything else. Everything goes up forever.
Here, that's the one he doesn't have. That's the Honus Wagner Topps Magic.
I thought we were Mangini.
Yeah, like I said, that's the only big one I don't have. But I need to get that one now.
Hey, listen,
So you can't taunt me anymore.
Listen, I'm getting more and more sensitive of you guys picking on me, okay? I'm getting tired of it, okay?
That doesn't sound like Mangini. He's not that sensitive.
Doesn't sound like me at all, right?
Like, just because I don't have that card doesn't make me any less of a collector like you, okay?
You mean doesn't make me a less collector like you?
No matter what card I have, I'm 100% certain somebody has it in a higher grade or a different version or something. It's like keeping up with the Joneses. There's always going to be somebody who has a bigger house, a nicer car, more cars, or whatever.
There's always going to be somebody
There's
with a bigger
somebody.
DiMaggio.
So if you get into trying to keep up with the Joneses, man, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
What about you, Sammy? What if you had all your knowledge you have now, but for whatever reason you had 0 cards? Where would you go with your collecting at that point?
I can only go with where I'm at right now with my collecting, which is collecting Seaver stuff, Mathewson stuff, Mays, Ryan. I mean, those are, kind of just have my own little wall display here. But those are my guys. I mean, I have the stuff I'm looking for, and I mean, the way I see it is, like when I went to the Philly show and I showed the list of the stuff I was looking for to every dealer, they're like, that's the stuff that I'm looking for. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I feel like I'm like dealers. I always ask dealers at shows, I'm like, do you have your own personal collection? And to my surprise, there's a large number of people that don't. They're they get stuff and they just immediately move it. And I never truly understood that. How can you be a dealer but not have your own personal collection? It can be tiny, but
Mm.
something I never really
Well,
got.
I mean, it might be hard, right? Like if you're going to be a drug dealer and you do drugs, you're going to be in trouble, right? And cards are kind of like that, you know. You get this one, oh, I can't sell this one. I'm going to keep this one. Then the next one, I'm going to keep this one. You know, if you're going to be a dealer, I think you have to have that mindset to be, you know, to make the most money probably. I mean, you do both, so you know it's probably hard to sell some. There's some cards that you get in and you're not selling them, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, anything that I bring with me. Oh God, Mookie's like, don't do drugs, do the longs.
That's
I'm
great.
sorry, I had to stop there.
No, that's a good one.
But I do think that most dealers do collect, though. There are some that don't, but I think the majority of them do have some type of collection, even if it's a small collection. Because I've seen it at the National when I traded a card to one of the dealers, and he took that card and he put it away, and he said, "That's for my personal collection." You know, we all start somewhere, but I think you know, but it comes down to every card does have a price, and if you get the price, sometimes the dealers put it out there like a showcase, but if they get the right price, they'll
that's
move
true. That's true. I mean, if I had that mantle and I could get 12.5 million, I'd sell it in 2 split seconds. 2 split seconds. As much as I love cards, I mean that's life altering money for people.
You know, I think there's also something to be said for, and I'm pretty sure you guys would agree, but you can always, let me know if you don't. But like, if you have a card you love, whether it's scarce or whether it's plentiful, whether it's expensive or not, if you just really love it, to me, that is, that's kind of the essence of collecting, because then that card transcends its value, because it brings you joy, it connects you with the past, it's visually appealing, maybe there's a story that goes with it, maybe it connects you with other collectors because they have it as well, or they were with you when you got it, or whatever the case may be. Like, this is not a really expensive card, but I mean, I absolutely love it. And yeah, it is a couple of goats, Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, but I'm like, this card is just so cool, And I also think that there's a way in which cards like this are, I realize they're not scarce. I mean, this 64 Topps card here with Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, of course, there's plenty of them out there. But there's a way in which it's, I don't know if scarce is the right word, but if you're looking for one, let's say you don't want to put more than $100 into something like this. You might have a lot more money or you might not, but you just don't want to spend a lot of the money on this particular card. So you're looking for one, let's say at a certain price, like $100, and you want it to have really nice eye appeal. You're not so picky about grade, but you want it to look really nice. And maybe you have a centering requirement as well. And you don't want to pay too much. Cards like that get snapped up pretty quick if they have high eye appeal. They don't cost too much. They're a grade that is more affordable. So there's a way in which they are kind of, I don't want to say scarce, but they'll get snapped up, if they don't cost too much and they look fantastic. And, they're a card that has players that a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah, there's a divergence of we all love cards, right? Like, I love cards. I never sell a card, but there's this divergence that's happened with this boom, right? That if a card like that mantle you could sell, it doesn't matter how much you love it. It doesn't matter if the money is enticing. Like, I love my car, but if you want to give me 100 times what I paid for it, it's yours.
Sure.
I love my house.
Sure.
I love both my houses. If you want to give me 100 times what I paid for each of them, they're yours tomorrow. I can go love another house. There just becomes a point where the money is just stupid, doesn't make sense, and you should jump on it. I don't know. Like, unless you have $12 million and you don't want another 12 million, but not too many people can say that they don't.
Well, there's no question. because if I had a 52 Topps Mickey Mantle, and I do think that's an amazing card. In Orlando, I personally think you have one of the nicest ones on the planet. But if I had one, say it was mid-grade and it went for, I don't know what that even is, 200,000 or whatever amount it is, just even though I like the card a lot, because it's worth so much money, I would absolutely use John's strategy and I would sell it and buy tons of other dream cards just because the value is so crazy high.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
other,
I mean,
the other thing is you have a risk of not selling it, in my mind. Like sometimes you have a high flying stock that's not earning any money, and it's just ridiculous, like how high it goes, and you didn't sell it, and it tanks, and you might have to wait 10 or 20 or 30 years for it to get back to that price level. Then you feel like a moron. So
yeah.
it's almost like if you don't sell it and you can get 12.5 million and next year it's worth 1 million or whatever. Like, I don't know, like there's no guarantee these things are going to stay up here, right?
Yeah. No, there's no guarantee on anything, of course. But, you have to look at it. I look at it a little bit different as far as me as an owner of that card. That was a card that since I first started collecting, it was and still is, the iconic card. I mean, you can't, the Honus Wagner, yeah, but that's unattainable. This is the 52 Mantle. If you show that card to anybody, even non-collectors know that card, have seen that card and know that card. It is the iconic card. And for me, it was something that I always wanted, but I could never afford, So lucky for me that I was able to get an authentic version of that card. And in my opinion, since, I didn't get a 4 or a 5, mine is technically authentic version. The value is not going to go down. I'm telling you right now, with at least my personal card, with the eye appeal that it has, and it's the find, it has provenance. My card has been only owned by one person, the person who opened it from the pack. So even though it's minimum size or alter, whatever they want to call it, I think the eye appeal is going to hold the value on my particular card, and that's why I got it. I had an opportunity to get that particular card. It was affordable. If my card would have graded a 2 or a 3, I couldn't have bought that card. I could not have afforded that card. But that's the only reason. And so I took that once in a lifetime opportunity, in my opinion, to get that card that was the top card in my mind as far as collecting.
The top post-war, and it enabled you to complete your Mantle run too.
That was the last card I needed for my Mantle run. Yes, like everybody.
And why you said that even non-collectors, people don't know baseball or anything know that card, right? And why is that? It's because the auction houses pump it. Yeah, it hits the news. That thing's on the financial news every time they sell one. I watch the financial news all day long. I see Golden.
It's on Fox Business. They're talking.
And yeah. And then it hits the news. It hits the newspaper. Whatever. That is it's the most hyped card in the history of cards.
It is.
And so it's become iconic, and it very well could continue to go up forever and ever and ever. Every week, every minute. It could. So, but as time goes on, I don't know, like 20 years from now, will it still be there? Will the kids still be around that won it, that their dad told them about Mick? I know, like my girlfriend's boyfriend never heard of Mickey Mantle. A lot of young people haven't. So I'm just saying it's possible that it doesn't stay up and go up every week forever.
The same question has been said about the Honus Wagner card and Honus Wagner cards in general. Same thing said about Ty Cobb. You didn't see Ty Cobb play. You didn't see Babe Ruth play, but those cards continue to go up in value. So it's just,
yeah, and I'm not saying just that card.
Legendary cards,
Yeah. So I think
but
people.
There are only 70 some of the Honus Wagner, and to me that is the holy grail, not the Mantle. But the Mantle sells for more than that now.
People have said. People have said.
I'd much rather have the Honus.
Me too.
people have said, buy the merit, sell the hype. The thing about the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle, to whatever degree it's been hyped, and I don't even know the extent
Well, they
of
call it a rookie
but-
card, which is really
well,
annoying.
Okay, but
I mean,
to
on the
whatever
news,
degree,
they'll call it a rookie card.
to whatever degree it's been hyped, it absolutely, and of course I'm preaching to the choir, it absolutely has merit. We are talking 52 Topps. Flagship matters. You know, the series that's been going on continuously for 70 plus years. We are talking basically the first Topps set. I know there's a 51. I know they produce some other cards, but the first that would be more like modern day cards. We are talking high number. We are talking, you know, the poster boy of post-war vintage baseball. Amazing player on the team that was the most dominant at that time. I mean, he's got an amazing story, and that card has transcended vintage baseball card collecting to the point where it's now an amazing piece of Americana. I bet you there are people out there that have that card that don't even collect vintage baseball cards, but they have it because they have deep pockets and they recognize the historical significance of that card as a piece of Americana.
The story
all I'm
of
saying
the
is you
dumping
might
it
not,
in the ocean.
the ones that are ripped in half might not always sell for 50 grand.
Right.
Like I'm not. I get it. It's Americana. I've been saying it on all my videos. Like cards like that aren't going down anytime soon. They're the, you know, they're like Americana art. That's exactly what I say. But are they the guys that are buying? You know, they want the 10s because that's all that matters these days. So they're paying 12.5. And what does that do? That makes everybody else. Now you're paying 80 grand for a 4, you know, and or 90 grand for a 4, something like that. And when you get to those lower numbers, which are still 30, 40, 50, 60,000, I don't know. You know, will those kinds of grades still hold up? They very well may. I'm not saying they're not. Just saying there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee in life.
I feel that eye appeal is going to be. I think now you begin to see that eye appeal is more important than the actual grade, and I think that's going to be the future. And what Adam is doing and what Dylan is doing, looking at vintage centered cards, those are
that's amongst like our age group, young people that grow up with just, you know, anything less than PSA 10 is a shit card to them. And that could change, Orlando. It could, because they've never touched a card, and anything less than a 10 is shit. And many of them don't even want to get into vintage because it's shit. They're shit grades.
Yeah.
They're dingy. They're dark. A lot of modern collectors don't want anything to do with vintage. They have the idea that if I didn't see them play, I don't want to collect them. So, you know, I know we come from a collector standpoint where we can't imagine a day where somebody wouldn't want our cards. We can't imagine that day, but like I said, you don't know. You can't predict the future.
We don't know.
I mean, if you would have told me that there could be a Pokemon card that sold for $1 million, I would have told you smoking crack. You know, back in the 90s.
So
that would be that's as surprising to me as if a Cabbage Patch doll sold for $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate to cut this conversation short, but there is an option here that if you guys want to continue, you can. I have to cut my evening short because I have to wake up really early tomorrow morning. Now, Theo has agreed to jump in the background so y'all can continue.
I have to get running, Sammy.
Yeah.
I do too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it was honestly, I hate to cut it off because you guys were having a really good discussion, and clearly it's held the viewership really well. So I apologize about cutting it short to everybody. But yeah, I just have to get up super early. So
we can do part 2 another time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys again for coming on, showing some cards, and just kind of sharing your thoughts and ganging up on Mangini, because that's, you know,
that's what collecting's all about. That's what collecting's all about, ganging up on Mangini.
All right, guys, I have to get running like right now. This tea just went right through me. Thanks
All
for
I say is,
thanks
we
for
love you,
including
John.
me.
You're the president here. We love you very much, and thank you so much. We tease you, but we imitate
I love you
but
guys.
that's
We
a
do love-
sincere form of flattery. We love you,
I
John.
love you guys, and it's been an honor. I've gotten to hang out with all three of you in person.
Yeah, look forward to it again in July. So,
Yes.
all right, guys. For everybody watching, thank you guys so much. For collectors, subscribe. We're getting close to 1,000. That'd be nice to get there. So help us out.
You guys are awesome.
What's that?
You guys are awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, we try to hold it down. So, all right, guys, have a good night. Take care. Thank you so much.